In a secluded valley cradled by the towering mountains and dense forests lay the village of Oakwood. This tranquil settlement thrived on the abundance of the earth, where the villagers cultivated lush fields of crops and tended to their livestock. Each year, as the harvest moon illuminated the night sky with its silvery glow, the villagers celebrated their bounty, giving thanks to the spirit of the land. But this year, as the harvest approached, an unsettling tension hung in the air. The crops were wilting, the animals were restless, and a strange hunger began to seep into the hearts of the villagers. Whispers of an ancient spirit, the spirit of hunger, spread like wildfire, filling the once joyous community with fear and apprehension. The elders spoke of the spirit of hunger, a being that roamed the earth, devouring the essence of life. It was said that the spirit fed on greed and excess, growing stronger as the people took more than they needed. If not appeased, it would unleash a devastating famine upon the land. As the days grew shorter and the nights colder, the villagers of Oakwood prepared their annual harvest festival. Yet despite their best efforts, the crops continued to wither. Each day they would rise with the sun, toiled in the fields, but the fruits of their labor were scarce. Amidst this turmoil, a young woman named Aisling, known for her wisdom and compassion, felt a stirring within her soul. She sensed the presence of the spirit of hunger lurking in the shadows, waiting for the villagers to falter in their unity. As Aisling wandered through the village, she noticed the changes in her neighbors. Their faces were gaunt, their eyes, once filled with warmth, now reflected despair. The spirit thrived on this suffering, feeding off of the fear and desperation that had taken root in their hearts. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the village, Aisling gathered the villagers by the central fire. "We must remember our bond with the earth," she urged, her voice steady. "We must share what we have, for only in unity can we overcome the darkness that threatens us." Despite her efforts, the villagers were skeptical. "How can we share when we have so little?" one villager protested, his eyes filled with worry. "We must focus on our own survival." As the festival drew near, the village remained divided. The spirits of hunger continued to loom over them, its power growing stronger with every passing day. The crops had all but failed, and the villagers were left with little more than the cloths on their back. In the depths of despair, a few villagers, blinded by their desperation, made a fateful decision. They gathered in secret, conspiring to hoard what little food remained, believing that if they secured their own survival, they could weather the storm. Unbeknownst to them, their actions would only strengthen the spirit of hunger. As they hoarded their supplies, the spirit grew bolder, its presence suffusing the villages with an air of dread. Shadows danced at the edge of their vision, and the insatiable gnawing echoed in their minds, a constant reminder of the spirit's influence. As the harvest festival approached, the air crackled with tension. The villagers were on edge. Their fear. The villagers were on edge, their fear palpable. Aisling, sensing the imminent threat, resolved to confront the spirit of hunger before it could unleash its wrath. That night, Aisling ventured into the woods, seeking guidance from the ancient spirits that watched over the land. She followed the winding path to a sacred clearing, illuminated by the light of the harvest moon. There she knelt before the altar, offering her prayers to the spirits. "Great spirits of the earth, I beseech you," she implored, her voice trembling. "Guide me in our time of need. Show us the way to restore balance and banish the spirit of hunger." As she finished her prayer, a gentle breeze swept through the clearing, carrying with it the faint whisper of the spirits. Aisling felt a surge of hope, a reminder that unity and compassion were the keys to overcoming the darkness. On the eve of the harvest festival, Aisling returned to the village, determined to share her newfound wisdom. She gathered the villagers around the central fire, urging them to put aside their fears and join together in celebration. "Let us honor the earth and the spirits that sustain us," she declared, her voice ringing with conviction. "We must share our blessings, for only then can we overcome the darkness that threatens to consume us." The villagers hesitated, uncertainty etched in their faces. But as Aisling spoke, a flicker of hope ignited within them. They began to remember the strength of their community, the love that had bound them together for generations. As night fell, they prepared a feast, laying out what little food they had. Each villager contributed what they could, sharing the last remnants of their supplies. The air filled with the aroma of baked bread, roasted vegetables, and hearty stews, a testament to their unity. As the festival began, laughter and music filled the air. The villagers danced around the fire, their spirits lifted by the warmth of the community. But as they celebrated, the spirit of hunger watched from the shadows, its hunger intensifying. With each joyous cheer, the spirit grew angrier, feeding off the villagers' defiance. As the night wore on, dark clouds gathered overhead, blotting out the moonlight. The atmosphere shifted, and a chilling wind swept through the village, silencing the laughter. Suddenly the ground trembled beneath their feet, and a low growl echoed through the night. The spirit of hunger manifested before them, a grotesque figure with hollow eyes and a gaping maw that seemed to devour the very light around it. "You dare to celebrate when I exist," the spirit roared, its voice a cacophony of despair. "I will consume you all." Fear gripped the villagers as they confronted the spirit of hunger. Aisling, undeterred by the chaos around her, stepped forward. "We will not be ruled by you," she shouted, her voice ringing with defiance. We choose to stand together in unity." In that declaration, the villagers rallied behind her, their spirits ignited by the power of community. They formed a circle around the fire, holding hands and channeling their energy into a collective force. Aisling led them in a chant, invoking the spirits of the earth to protect them. As the villagers united, the spirit of hunger recoiled, its form flickering with uncertainty. The warmth of their love and the strength of their unity began to push back against the darkness that surrounded them. "You think your bonds can defeat me?" the spirit hissed, its voice laced with venom. "I am hunger personified. I will not be cast aside." But the villagers stood firm, their resolve unwavering. Aisling focused on the light within each of them, channeling their collective strength into a radiant beam that pierced the darkness. The light surged forward, enveloping the spirit of hunger in its warm embrace. As the villagers sang in unison, the spirit howled in agony, its form twisted and writhing. The light grew brighter, illuminating the village with a golden glow. With one final surge of energy, the villagers pushed the spirit back, banishing it into the shadows from which it came. With the spirit vanquished, the clouds parted, and the moon shone brightly over the village once more. The villagers erupted in cheer, their hearts filled with relief and gratitude. They had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, united in their love for one another and their commitment to the land.